You know, damn guys, if you just wanted me to sit in chairs and talk to you about stuff, instead of all the other crap I've made, you just let me know. It would have saved me some time, some edits. No, I'm kidding. So in my career as a filmmaker, I have wrote, directed, DP'd a ton of short films, even had the chance to act as a DP on 2 feature films. And in my one video, I talked to you about what I learned in my 10 years being a filmmaker. I can tell you right now, I learned a ton more actually doing films. Making films is the ultimate masterclass. So what have I learned from making all these films? First things first, I want to talk about is based more on the narrative space of making films. And that's characters drive your story. It's not scenario, it's not your setting. Whoever the people are that we're trying to follow in your films, that's what we're really gonna latch onto. You could have the craziest Black Mirror-esque, sci-fi, twisty, turny kind of concept or whatever, but I promise you, if we are not going through that journey through someone that we can successfully empathize with as a living human being, we're turning away, we're watching something else. Whether it's Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, or whatever else of these things that are so based in their setting and their scenario, it's not so much that we're watching these things because we want to be lost in Middle Earth or in a galaxy far, far away. It's because we want to see what these people are doing in that galaxy or doing in that Middle Earth. We empathize with the very unlikely hero that is going to save the world, rather than the world being saved. Scenario and setting are simply amplifiers and things that are there to support your character. And those scenarios, those conflicts, those things that the character faces should always directly be in line with the character's morals or purely against the morals of the character in order to challenge them and make them change. When I made The Edge with Us, we didn't even go out of our way to say what disease the main character Beth had. Because one, we didn't want to disrespect anyone by misinterpreting certain things, but also the true story here is not schizophrenia, it's not bipolar. It's how does somebody like Avery, how does somebody like Beth face these challenges, and how does it change them as people? And it's that change, it's that conflict, and watching these people deal with these things is what, well, it's what makes us watch movies. Moving away from narrative, I want to talk a bit about the evolution of teamwork. You don't need me to tell you that filmmaking is the ultimate team sport. That'll always be the truth. I will believe that till the day I die. But even more important, it's how your ability to work as a team evolves. Your ability to communicate with other creatives and, quite frankly, pull off the miracle that is a film. Making a film is crazy. This is a very subjective thing we're doing with very few concrete rules. And everyone on this set has an opinion. Everyone's gonna have a skill set they're bringing to the table. The evolution of how you communicate with these people is so imperative, and it's kind of interesting to look at. The Edge with Us was the first film where I wasn't directing and DPing at the same time. My buddy Mikey D'Amico, who I've mentioned plenty of times on the channel already, was my DP. And I love what he did with The Edge with Us, and there was even a scene that is one of my favorite looks in the entire film where I wasn't even present for the shoot. That being my first time being a director in that space, I do feel like I did shadow over Mikey too much. I do feel like I didn't let him shine enough in his individuality as the artist I wanted to bring on. Look at Denis Villeneuve and all his amazing films he's made, but you know Greg Fraser shot Dune. You know Bradford Young shot Arrival, and you know Roger Deakins shot Blade Runner 2049, which I stupidly called 2042 in my one video. Whoops. And now we got our new film, The Reunion. And that one, I relied more on Mikey's knowledge as a DP, and I think in turn, he did rely more on my knowledge as a director and the writer. So the relationship was healthier. It allowed him to do his job, and that trust that was built from those years of having that relationship, we've created some great things now. And it's because of The Edge with Us, we were able to grow and make something like Recurrence or The Reunion, which I'm proud to say that I think when you watch these things, you could tell I directed them, but you can also tell Mikey shot them. You know, you spend a lot of time learning techniques. You spend a lot of time learning the things that you can do to make a film. But now that you've gone so many years making films, have you asked yourself what you don't want to do? There's a reason I love David Fincher films so much, because it's very clear what he doesn't do. And if you really want to go into how effective that philosophy is, go watch Every Frame of Painting's video on David Fincher's filmmaking. That one really resonated with me. I'll put the link in the description. I have truly become the same way. I have pretty much found the techniques in filmmaking that I find are not effective towards my storytelling and things I just quite frankly don't want to do. You watch my films, you'll notice I don't like using things like Ronins or gimbals or movies. It's just not a look that supports the way I want to tell films. I don't like doing pans. I don't like doing tripod movements. I pretty much like very select forms of filmmaking so that I can always maintain a visual language that I want to keep intact. So that when you watch my films, it's very clear my intentions. It's something that you can watch and understand without truly having to pay too close to that attention, to be honest. So that you know why I stick to a lot of handheld shots, why I stick to a lot of shots that I keep on a tripod. My intentionality becomes that much more vivid and clear for the audience, the cast, the crew, and everyone else involved in the movie. I even do the same thing with my army stuff, man. You watch that, I completely keep the same exact philosophies, and I love it. It's me figuring out what I don't want to do has really nailed down the things that I want to use to tell a story in the medium that is film. And you'll start to see these rules that are being put in place in some films. For example, Bradford Young on Ain't Them Body Saints made the rule that we are only using tungsten and practical lights in order to shoot the entire film to maintain a look. And something I applied in my film The Edge with Us was certain headspaces I wanted to maintain in certain scenes I wanted to keep in a certain stability or a certain framing or look. So when that moment is broken and the rules are shifted, you can tell an obvious shift in storytelling. Another one I learned, and this is one that it is so hard to hold on to this fact because it's so tempting to not believe in it. Trust me when I say, your best filmmaking tool is you. Can that come off as douchey, pretentious? Sure, whatever. But trust me when I say, you walking into a room and knowing where your actors should be for the blocking and the lighting and the execution of a scene is way more valuable than you walking in with a pimped out large format Alexa. Trust me, especially in narrative film. This isn't the commercial world where people are more likely to hire you because you have something like a Red or an RE, whatever. In the narrative space, it just doesn't matter as much at all. I would have no problem taking this Pocket 6K and going out and shooting a film. In fact, in my next film I'm trying to do, it might be something that kicks off into one of the best things I've ever done. And I had a whole shopping list of like the cameras I wanted to get, these nice Cook anamorphics, yada yada, just really pimp this bad boy out. But then we have to ask myself, what am I risking by getting that? Am I risking the quality of life on set for my cast and my crew? Whether that's the food they get, the travel compensation, the areas we're able to lock down in order to shoot the film. Am I risking the crew that I can bring on that are going to improve my film and make it as good as it can? Because I can't do this by myself. No one ever made a great film by themselves. You can only make a good film by yourself, and that's just a fact. So instead, what I'm doing is I'm taking my Ursa Mini Pro G2, I'm gonna rent 2 lenses, tops, and I'm just going to focus on what truly matters in the narrative space. Character, writing, pacing, and overall immersion of your audience in order to not sell your gear, not sell your visuals, not sell your cinematography. It's to sell the thing you went out to tell. We are storytellers. We are not camera techs. We are storytellers first and foremost. The technical stuff comes after that. It's all there to support what we can do. And as the best tool in the set, we need to use gear that's going to support that. So if you think that getting something like an Alexa for your film is in support of what you want to do and it fits what you can do and it's appropriate logistically, go for it. But if you can use something else, don't be afraid to use something else. You would not be the first one, and trust me, you will feel a lot better when you're able to focus more on the things that matter in your film. I'll take this into one last thing, and this is something that in life in filmmaking, military, whatever. It's something I've really held near and dear. It's the most liberating thing I've ever learned. And it's something I learned from one of my absolute favorite filmmakers, Ryan Booth. Nobody is on the cutting room table over what we do. What we do ultimately falls under entertainment and arts. No one is surviving a surgery because of the quality of a film we put out. No one is going to be able to put bread on the table for their family because we made an amazing film, and also no one's gonna go poor and hate their lives and want to jump out of a window because you made a shit film. And I know that kind of comes off as something that kind of undermines our importance, but you know, not to tell you how to feel, but don't let that be such a negative thing for you. I found it to be a very liberating mantra to live by because it allows me to have the courage to fail, which, as I've said before, is such an important thing in this life. Whether that's from a leadership aspect or whether that's from what I'm doing right now, making films. And even when I was overseas for a bit, for the most part, I wasn't doing things that was putting people directly in like the line of fire. I wasn't making decisions like storming the beaches of Normandy. But seriously, it gave me the ability to go out and make a decision. Of course, you're still messing with people's quality of life, you're still messing with a cast and crew or a team, and you're still potentially doing something that might harm or affect a relationship, which is something you have to keep in mind. But if you keep a level head, but you also keep a certain amount of bravery to make a decision, you're either going to succeed or you're going to learn every little thing possible in order to make an even better decision. And God forbid you make no decision. That's the worst thing you could do. When you keep that fact in mind, what that importantly reminds you is that this shit's supposed to be fun, man. Every time I've been on a film where I remember that fact, I have had a friggin' blast. I really have. Making a film should be the most fun thing you ever do. If you truly are a filmmaker, it should put a smile on your face. It should wake you up in the morning with all the energy you need to pump through those 2 a.m. shoots, those late night edits, those cold early mornings knocking out a shot. And that level of catharsis you feel as a filmmaker to complete that thing is the most euphoric and gratifying thing on this planet. And I don't think I'd be able to feel that way if I felt that I had this like innate duty to make something great at all times, or that somebody was going to have a lesser life because they watched my film. So remember that, because then you'll be able to have more fun, you'll be able to learn more, and then either in that moment or eventually you'll be able to execute better films.
What the hell?
I was filming. Wait, this is perfect because I needed to show Rhea. I was about to say this might be the first video I don't show her, but now they got the baby. Do you want to show your face?
No.
No?
I'm
Okay.
eating pepperoni.
Okay. Now I know all of this sounds all hunky-dory, but as you continue to make films, as you continue to progress, you're gonna run into problems, you're gonna run into fights and maybe some conflicts, but trust me when I say, the more you do, whether that's being a part of the film, whether that's actually filming the thing, or just talking to people about how their experiences was, it's gonna get better. It really is. Or you're at least gonna be better at being able to tackle these things that used to be a catastrophic nightmare, now become just another hurdle you're gonna get over. So keep making films. Do not stop your ability to create as much as you can, and keep honing the craft, and you're going to make some amazing stuff. I promise you that. Also, if I haven't done it already, I think I did, but with hitting 1,000 subscribers, that was my first major goal with this channel. So thank you guys so friggin' much for actually helping me hit that goal. It is amazing, and even though it was pretty much driven off by one video, it's still, thank you guys so much. You've done nothing but leave the kindest comments, the kindest remarks, and ultimately what I want to do is I want to make something for you guys. I want you guys to learn something, feel something, or just, I want to give to you what the YouTube filmmaking community has given to me over these many years of filmmaking. And the more I think of what I want to do with this channel, I try to make some videos on, how do we do something, but I think I think I personally, and I think you guys get a little more out of when we talk about the why we do something. There's a million outlets that you can go where someone can teach you lighting, where someone can teach you lensing, or the other things of film, but I think we need to continue to ask, why are we doing these things? Why are we learning these fundamentals? And then by asking the why, we can break those fundamentals, we can enhance them, or we can perfect them. So I thank you for joining me for this video. All my promises of stuff to come, don't worry, they're getting closer. Stuff's coming, yeah, I swear. And as always, hope to see you on the next one. Deuces, everyone.